DarkAce narrative.
I know this isn't maybe to the tier of some other stories here, but it still scared me nonetheless. I was 13 to 14 when this happened. We just had an event at school, meaning we had a half day. Even though I was all dressed up, nice dress and shoes, and it was raining, I wanted to walk back home through the park that was in between where I lived and my school. I wanted to walk home since my parents were kind of the helicopter type, and I figured they didn't know when my half day ended, so they couldn't track me. I put on my raincoat and started walking towards the park. A couple blocks away from the entrance I stopped at a red light where a middle to old-aged man was in jogging attire and a light raincoat. Now I live in the city, and one thing about the city is that you almost never small talk with strangers, ever. But he was on the older side, so I didn't think it was weird when he started talking to me. Sometimes older people like to talk. It started out as small talk, the rain etc. But as we both started crossing the street it started to slowly get stranger.
What a pretty dress. Are you going to some sort of party?
I told him I was going to a friend's house, lie, and that I'd just been to an event.
Well, that dress really makes you look so mature.
I didn't comment, because what could I say? It wasn't even a dress that was meant to somehow be for someone older, it was just a fancy dress. He started talking more, still walking right next to me, saying he had to get his jog in before the rain started, and how he liked to run in the park. That would have been all good and dandy, but just a minute after he said that we walked past where he needed to turn to go into an entrance. This made no sense, and he would have to walk a full extra 8 blocks to enter into the park. Like I said, I'm in the city, meaning there's always people around. However, there were less people out and about since it was a bit before midday, so people would be at work, and we were in a residential area and it had started to rain. He continued talking.
Where are you going? I could always walk you there.
I'm good, thank you. Also, I think you just missed your turn into the park. He made a bit of a sour facial expression before almost immediately becoming all cheery again.
Oh, it's fine. I can always go on a run somewhere different, especially if I get to talk with such a pretty young girl.
He stepped a bit closer to me to the point that if a stranger saw us, they'd assume we were family or something along those lines. That was the final straw. I immediately said, "This is my stop," before turning into a random fancy building and telling the doorman that a man outside had been acting weird and sort of following me. He told me I could wait inside by the lobby. Apparently the man didn't leave until 5 minutes later, when the doorman asked who he waiting for, and he said his daughter. The doorman then threatened to call 911 after some back and forth, which made the man eventually leave. I ended up calling an older friend who had a car to pick me up. This may have just been me being freaked out, but I could have sworn I saw the man waiting across the street in a cafe.